Hello, doctor. My name is Timothy Feuling, and I am the Senior Vice President of the CBS Malpractice Program. I'm very excited to come today and share a little bit with you about what's really important when you're deciding on which malpractice program you're going to choose. Whether or not you decide to go with our CBS Malpractice Program or any other program, it's very important that you take a look at some of the most important issues surrounding malpractice and chiropractic. So number one, guys, you want to make sure that the policy has a consent to settle agreement. And this is nothing more than the insurance company agreeing to let you have some say in whether or not the case goes to court or not. To be totally frank and honest with you, most chiropractors would like to have their case settled because by the time you go through all the emotional turmoil and the months go on and then maybe even a few years go on, you just want it absolutely out of your life. But the fact is that you at least want the opportunity to have some say in whether or not that case is going to have the ability to go to court. Number two, you absolutely need sexual misconduct defense. Now, unfortunately, some of the companies out there don't cover sexual misconduct at all, and it's an exclusion in their policy. It's almost hidden. Other companies give a very limited amount of sexual defense, maybe $25,000, $50,000 in sexual defense. And then some of the companies like the CBS program actually give full sexual misconduct defense where we don't put a dollar limit on you other than what your total policy limit covers in the first place. And so it's important also to keep in mind that sexual misconduct defense coverage is exactly that, defense coverage. It's not there to pay awards, okay? So very important to know that you have a policy that has unlimited sexual defense coverage up to your policy limit, and that you don't have either no coverage or a really limited amount of funds. Because the reality is that most sexual misconduct allegations against a doctor are probably going to cost somewhere between $50,000 to $200,000 in defense costs for all the civil liability issues that are going to go on with that actual allegation. In addition to that, you want to make sure that you have plenty of professional board dispute defense. Now, that's for regulatory issues where basically you've got a patient saying that you weren't in compliance with something, patient abandonment, or other issues regarding how you bill. There's so many different things that a patient could say that you did. Sexual misconduct is also a board issue too, and that's outside of the sexual defense coverage, and that's part of your professional board defense coverage. So as an example, the CBS program gives you $30,000 worth of professional board defense coverage. We've never had to spend that entire limit for a doctor, though we have been in the 20,000s in defense costs for a board issue. So it's very important that you have enough coverage. I would say 20,000 or more in board defense coverage to make sure that if a patient ever alleges something of you with the board, that you've got the defense there to pay for that so that you don't have any out-of-pocket expense. Now, it's very important, you guys, to keep in mind is that the malpractice, the sexual, and the board issues, the most perfect scenario of having a malpractice policy is the fact that you have a company that's managing that entire case file for you. I spoke with a gentleman today who is going through a malpractice case with no malpractice coverage intact. So he's having to manage the entire case right now himself, and it's just absolutely emotionally killing the guy. And so you can understand that if you get a sexual case, a board case, or a malpractice case, and you don't have a company there to represent and manage the whole file and the case and to take care of everything for you, it can be very draining on you and your career. Those are the most important parts of coverage of a malpractice policy. It's also very important that you take a look at the company that you're insuring with itself. Do they have a strong A rating with AM Best and some of the other rating agencies? Has the company been around for a long time? Do they have good financial stability in every sense of the word, right? Is it a company that has a vested interest in chiropractic? In other words, do the people that you're working with have a vested interest in what you do as a profession and really want to make sure that you're always completely taken care of because they care about the chiropractic profession so much? Is the company you're with giving back in different ways to your profession? So guys and gals, you have so many different choices when it comes to malpractice, but when you narrow it down, there's only a few that are going to provide you with the most comprehensive policy coverage that you need for the most common allegations. Okay, sexual misconduct and malpractice are going to be your two most common allegations. We're now becoming more of a high severity claim profession because of the stroke claims and the disc claims and some of the other claims related with those two things. we have become a high severity claim profession. We used to be a high event profession. In other words, lots of events like broken rib, sexual misconduct, disc case, stroke case, lots of cases. But now it's become more of a high severity case. And that's one of the reasons that the premiums for chiropractors will continue to move up throughout the years coming forward into the future, because it costs a lot of money to manage these cases. And so it's just very important that you make sure that you make a great decision for you, because the company that you choose, you're depending on, and you're putting your trust in this company and your loyalty with this company, that when push comes to shove and an adverse event comes up for you and your practice, you're absolutely going to be taken care of and be covered. Folks, my family's been in the chiropractic profession for over 40 years. We started this company in 1989 for chiropractors by chiropractors, to make sure that our brethren and our sisters out in the profession had the best policy coverage that money can buy, and that they had the underwriting criteria that supported the way they practiced. I hope you'll make a great choice in your malpractice, whether it's CBS or another company. Thank you for this time today. I appreciate it.